I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
Next one up from Miles says, Chelsea started off well, but do you think overconfidence in pressing got us opened up between the midfield and the defense? Or was our defense just flat out poor and we should continue pressing as high as we did today? So, two-parter, Nick. One, I don't think it's overconfidence in pressing. I think that's the tactic. The tactic is to press them in their final third so we can get it back in their final third. So I don't think it's an overconfidence. So the second part, though, was the defense just flat out poor. Again, we thought it's a disconnection. I love watching Mason Mount and Pedro and Tammy. I mean, Tammy got stuck in on the defenders a few times. Talk about it's max effort. You love seeing that from the players. And, the Premier League, if you give someone time to pick their head up, they're going to find a pass. They're going to find a really good option. And pressing counteracts that. And so to me, I would hope that we continue to press. We just continue to press as an entire team. Is 10 players, not 6 potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's where the block is, right? If you're going to play a high line, there are inherent risks that come with that. And there are a lot of rewards. We played the whole first half in Manchester United's half. I mean, and you had Mason Mount buzzing around. You had Ross Barkley buzzing around. You had Tammy Abraham showing some relatively good movement, I thought. And I've been kind of skeptical of his movement to this point, but I thought he played relatively well. If you're going to do that, the risk and the tactic is that your back line has to be so in sync that they know when to step, that they know when to drop off, that they are prepared to cover a really big amount of ground, Dan, between essentially the halfway line and Kepa. And right now, I'm not sure that they're there. And I think that's what scares me. If you play a lower block, you might have less mistakes, but maybe less goals on the other end.
Yeah, you can't be the defender, like Aspie's case for this match, who plays the one player on side and allows that pass to cut through. I think the other challenge is, when you have a midfield two of Kovacic and Conte, because that at this moment is what that midfield two should be, as long as it's a 4-2-3-1. That is going to instill a little bit more confidence in me that we can actually maintain that line, that we'll be able to bring that defense closer, because we know we'll have two players who will be able to get back enough quickly to support. And I do think Jorginho was a little exposed in this match for his pace. And I caveat that by saying, because the moment you say something about Jorginho online, unfortunately, you get a lot of negative criticism. He did a good job disrupting some stuff around the box, but it shouldn't have gotten back to the box. It should have been something where his pass hit the first man. His pass wasn't in a position that was playing someone into danger. That happened once or twice in the match that I can remember off the top of my head. And that's where I think, again, the synergy between that midfield two and that back four needs to be in concert, because right now that is the problem with us pressing, because they were getting chipped, they were getting passed through, there were acres of space for attackers to move through, and if you're going to give up that space, you absolutely should lose a match in the way that we did.
With Jorginho, he did make some basic mistakes of not letting your man turn behind you. He was trying to jump the pass and ended up letting them turn and essentially beat him. When you're in that situation, you need to stop the attack, make them turn or go sideways. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen enough against United. But again, learn and get better, which is a perfect segue right into Aerith Muggles' social challenge question. What were some new positives from our opener that weren't apparent from preseason? Dan, what do you think maybe are some positives that we didn't see coming from our preseason trip around the world?
Well, we did get a chance to see Aaron Wan-Bissaka last season as a excellent one-on-one defender. One thing you wouldn't have been able to see in preseason is Christian Pulisic sliding by him twice in some one-on-ones. That was very exciting to see as just a foundation for what he potentially is going to be capable of. AWB is a really, really good defender, Nick, and I think that was very promising with his cameo in the match after it kind of already gone to shit. It was nice to see, that as a positive coming out in the second half.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of comment on Pulisic's 30 minutes. I will say, I thought that Tammy, although I'm critical of the decision to play him yesterday, I still firmly believe Giroux is our best option right now. I thought that Tammy looked like he had different energy, maybe, or that he was more committed than I've seen him. I think just having the confidence of starting at Old Trafford probably doesn't hurt. But his movement was better than the preseason. I was expecting something a little bit more traditional, but he was certainly making some darting runs. He was trying to mess with the center backs. I think he gave Harry Maguire a lot, maybe not more than he could handle, but a lot to consider. And it was unfortunate that, we had a couple go off the woodwork, and, he certainly smashed one against the post as hard as one can do. But I was very surprised by Tammy, and that was not something that I expected.
Thumbs up. Agreed.
New positive. Lampard looks great in a suit? ? I mean,
wow, that's very insightful.
We've reached the bottom of the barrel, folks, on positivity.
Shane, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. It's I love the Pulisic cameo. I think you had a great call, Tammy. He was better than I thought he'd be. Other than that, new positives. Maybe people appreciate Willian more than what they did. Maybe. I'm not really sure.
Emerson finding so much room is a huge positive to me, because again, give him space, give him his left foot, and he is maybe just as dangerous as Marcos Alonso going forward without the absurd calamities at the back. Hopefully. I don't know. You would hope, right? I think he still has a lot to work on positionally, but I mean, man, the one he ripped off the top of the bar that De Gea had no idea about. I mean, that's just a pure rocket. As a goalkeeper, Brandon, you're not stopping that, regardless of how many tries you have.
Not unless it smashes you in the face, and then it's lights out.
You speak from experience, I think.
Nothing, gosh, not.